It's 16:28 on the 11th of June, and this is an upload, as I've mentioned, for the interest of Interpol and the Vatican with regard to the crimes that I'm experiencing unduly, inexcusably, and unforgivably. There are ASBOs in society that have untreated mental illnesses that have been threatening the peace and not observing the birthrights that are of royal protocol and my identity. Um, as I've mentioned, there was a witnessing of my son yesterday, and today, the point I'm making is that there are individuals of debt evasion that owe me debts personally for damages, harms, and losses to my career, my personal life, and my physical well being. They've been incurring damages, harms, and losses to my livelihood since 2006. And this is evidence, this is the blatant evidence of the most recent offence I've experienced as a consequence of the crime that's occurring. My door has been broken in, my apartment has been vandalised and dirtied, and these are all being brought to the attention of the individuals that are responsible for taking advantage of the legislation and social reform that my recovery advocacy has initiated. So, for the interest of the Vatican and Interpol, I am experiencing individuals that have offended the Hippocratic Oath and that have manipulated, edited, and altered my spiritual gifts as a royal. These people are mentally disturbed. They have demonstrated ASBO behaviour. They have been brought to the attention of the authorities due to other forms of offences that they've conducted against my son and I. So these people are of defamation, damages, and dangers to society. So they've caused offence since 2006. They've put women and children's rights at high risk, and they've offended the departments of education for which I have qualified and trained and taught and contributed. So this is serious. I'm a mother, and my spiritual gifts that are of my birthright, that are of my ascension process as a mother experiencing crime. There are ASBOs, mentally disturbed individuals that are messing around with people's spiritual gifts, and they're communicating a message that isn't healthy or safe for their children. They're putting their children at risk, dodging their debts that they have owed me since about 2006, roughly, as an estimate. And these people have been exploiting for my spiritual purpose and my contributions to society, the social reform that has originated from me. So I'm getting a little bit weary of these ASBOs breaking the law, ignoring all protocol. I'm healing, and it's tiresome having to upload this message and wait for knowledgeable, intelligent, sensible people to come to the fore and to present my child to me with the proper conditions that are expected in royal protocol circumstances. My child is not meant to be for my care. He's not to be used as a pawn by individuals hoping to walk onto my farms. There are people that have dirty debts and racketeering to their credentials, their repertoire, and their expertise, and this is for the interest of Interpol. And they have manipulated spirituality with their racketeering, and they've been a blasphemy, profanity, and sacrilegious conduct, and it's disgusting. But the point of it all is that these culprits are putting children's futures, lives at risk, disrespecting the social reform that has originated from me, and not paying their dues. So that is in respect, gratitude, and monetary as well. But they have just lowered the standards. It's repulsive what I'm contending with. So they haven't treated their mental illness. They haven't come clean. They're still dirty in society and dirty in people's family names. And there's an issue about what I'm contending with regard to the Vatican's interests in preserving the faith and protecting the faith and the rights of every human being to have their faith respected. Now, I don't tolerate those offending any faith practices with anything like what I have had to contend with. It's indescribable what I've had to contend with. It's audacious, it's unlawful, it's unethical, and it's immoral, and it's disgusting. So these people have no shame about their debts, their damages, their defamation and disrespect. But most pertinently, the child that I gave birth to is to be relocated and restored to my care. He is not meant to be for my care illegally. He's a royal child and he has been exposed to very dangerous situations and ASBOs in society that have no right or remit to be within a 15-kilometre radius of me. So there are ASBOs that are in society that are playing a very tired situation and making us all very weary with their trash that they've been pulling out in Tralee, and it's really getting a little bit tiresome. So until people are able to do things properly, there's going to be casualties, as we've already seen, as a consequence of these people blaspheming and disrespecting faith, family and fellowship, and taking credit for work that they have not done, for advocacy that they're not responsible for. They're not qualified, they aren't trained, and they're not entitled to anything of my birthrights. So I'd appreciate the Vatican taking on board that I have a spiritual purpose that has brought about COVID-19, and developments with the new framework have originated as well with me. That's all after happening after 20 years of recovery advocacy. And I have a child that's missing. There are people owing me debts since 2006, and I can't even get to see the dentist. And there are people thinking they have a situation where they're able to play with people's royalty and royalties in the arts as well, I might add. So it would be really helpful if Interpol and the Vatican could treat the ASBOs in society that are making miscalculated assertions, assumptions, and ascertaining from other people's accreditation and qualifications from our national educational bodies. The framework, the national educational framework, etc., has been queried by individuals that aren't working with protocol, procedures or process. So that's my upload for now. There are people not observing protocol, privacy and proximity and protection rights that I'm automatically entitled to. I'd like Interpol to locate the individuals that are dodging their debts, and I'd like the Vatican Church to recognise that there's a very dangerous issue being done to its faith in County Kerry. I'd also like the authorities to locate my son Garrod McCalligat.